Morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to be talking to you today about you and your business. We've got a lot to cover on today's program, and I'm going to jump right straight into it. I'm going to talk about an interesting innovator out there in the healthcare arena, a company that specializes in hearing, which, let's face it, when we think of the real important things in life, our senses are among the most important things. Our ability to hear and taste and feel and see. And there's a company we're going to be talking to today who specializes just in that. Michael Spearman, and he's with a company called Autotronics. Michael, welcome to the program. Tell us about your firm, your business.
Oh, good morning. Well, Autotronics, we specialize in developing advanced technologies for hearing treatment and diagnostics of hearing loss. And why that's important is 1 out of 10 Americans suffer from hearing loss. And we will all be affected by it at some point in our life. Either we will acquire hearing loss or someone we know or many people we know, friends or family, will have hearing loss. And consequently, it affects their ability to communicate, as you said earlier.
So tell us about how old is your firm?
Well, the company was actually started in 2009, but it was the result of about 20 years of R&D in the development of the hearing implant, the Maxim hearing implant that we developed for patients who have hearing aids. But the hearing aids don't do enough for them, and they still don't understand and can't hear people properly so that they can communicate well with them.
Okay, and so your clients, your patients all have hearing aids, but they also have this as well? Or do some of your patients just have this?
Well, actually, what happens is we find that the Maxim hearing implant, the hearing implants are brand new technology, a whole new world technology. There's only 3 companies in the United States who have FDA approval for these, and actually 4 in the world. And what this is for, patients who have had hearing aids, but they're still not getting the benefit that they could, and they're still struggling with hearing in conversations, in noisy restaurants. So what they will do is they'll move up to the hearing implant, which now provides them more functional gain or more audibility than they were getting with their hearing aids. So now they're able to hear clearer speech, hear more words, hear sentences, and be able to communicate once again.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And I guess that's really what does make you different from the competition out there. I mean, there's very few that are actually in your specific domain space. That's
correct. And with hearing aids, they use a speaker to amplify sounds. With a hearing implant, we get rid of a speaker that's speakerless. So what we do is we directly drive the cochlea through electromechanical energy rather than using sound energy. And by that, it bypasses the distortion that happens with speakers. It bypasses the feedback that people have, and it gives the ability for the audiologist to program in much more audibility for the patient so they can hear clearer and better.
And these are surgically implanted?
Yes, they are. But what's nice about the Maxim implant, it's a very minimally invasive. It's almost like a LASIK or a cataract procedure where the patient goes into their otologist or ENT, and it's put in a 30-minute procedure, in an outpatient procedure, or even in the surgeon's office under local anesthetic.
Okay. And 30 minutes. And I guess you're awake the entire time.
That's right. Patients can be awake the entire time and talking with their physician in most of the cases.
That's fascinating. How long has Maxim been out there?
Well, the original technology was actually approved by the FDA in 2001, and then we developed new technologies on top of that. So it's been here now for about 2 to 3 years since all the newest technology has been added to it.
So typically, who's a good candidate for this?
The best candidates for these are patients with moderate, severe to severe high-frequency hearing loss. So those will be people who have hearing aids, and they'll have a closed fit. Usually we can tell who they are because they'll have either a large BTE with a custom mold in their ear, or they'll have
large BPE.
A BTE would be a behind-the-ear hearing aid, the one that we normally see people wearing behind their ear. Uh-huh. Or if we see a patient with a hearing aid in their ear canal, they're trying to get as much power as they can. So those people are trying to get as much power as they can in order to try to get more amplification. Those are the ones who usually struggle the most with their hearing aids and are able now with the Maxim to get rid of those and be able to have a much smaller device, but with much more energy provided to the inner ear so that they can have more amplification. And with that amplification, the high frequencies that they weren't able to get with these power systems, the normal hearing aids, they're able now to understand, get more of the phonemes and enable them to understand words better.
More likely, they've already had more than one implant. I mean, more than one hearing aid before they got to you.
That's
they've gone through some hearing aids.
Very typical on that, Kevin. They have usually had 2, 3, 5 sets of hearing aids. They've had hearing loss for some time. They're struggling in restaurants, hearing their wife or their husband talk. They're struggling listening to their grandchildren talk or communicating in meetings at business where they're not hearing everything and they're kind of left out of conversations. That's a very classic indication.
Now, you mentioned the type of doctor. Would that be an ENT that would normally do the procedure?
That's correct. They're ENTs, and primarily those who specialize on the E side, the ear side, who are, we call them otologists, and they'll do, it's a very standard, a very easy procedure for them to do.
Yeah, very easy. And I'm assuming that you provide the additional training, or would they have gotten this training already in medical school?
Actually, all of the surgeons in the United States and around the world who do this come to our facility. We're actually located up in the Woodlands, Texas, which is very nice for the community here. And they come here for training with our scientists and field clinician engineers and are trained here. And in the local community, we have 3 of these practices training, who have been trained and doing these implants now.
Now, you have how many hearing aids?
3 right now.
3 right now. And I imagine you're working on increasing that number every chance you can.
We do. Of course, we always are looking for making sure it's a very high quality and competent practice so that the patients are going to have the most benefit possible with a very good outcome.
Right. And how is the implant itself put in? In other words, I noticed it says at the website, by the way, and that's ototronics.com, OTOTRONIX.com. That's OTOTRONIX.com. I notice it says there's no stitching involved. How is it actually implanted?
This is what's nice about it. The patient lays on the table. The surgeon anesthetizes the ear canal, almost like a dental procedure with lidocaine, and just opens up the eardrum and then goes in and places the very small, it's a hermetically sealed magnet, right onto the stapes, which is the one of the ossicles in the middle ear, one of the middle ear bones, and then closes the flap and the TM, the eardrum, and that's it.
Yeah, and it looks like it's pretty easy to open that drum. I guess it's done with some kind of surgical tool.
They simply take a little surgical instrument that cuts it, opens it up, and basically they kind of move it back, they place it in, and then they close it back up. It's a very straightforward, easy procedure for these otologists. It
probably heals pretty easily. Don't get any water in your ear for a while.
Yeah, they basically get a little packing in their ear, and in a week the eardrum's healed.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ototronics.com. That's OTORONIX.com. When you go there, look on the navigation for Maxim Procedure, and there's a cool little video that explains exactly what you guys do. Michael Spearman, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It was very good to be here. Appreciate talking with you.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here does show up over there at usnavyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. This is The Price of Business.